Tucker Solutions and his show Retirement Decoded. Sunday mornings at 8. Learn more at scotttuckersolutions.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson.
Insert Democrat socialist here.
Runs the Democratic House floor for 30 plus years running. He's promising this and he's stealing that. Where can you get that kind of money? He's using your house like his own piggy bank. You ought to know by now. You can pay off your house here in Illinois, but you can never keep up with the taxes. Oh, how it's always been the plan to have a taxpayer pay, no doubt. Not a matter of if anymore, but when. You're moving out. I said, when you're moving out.
That's music. Means it's time for our weekly confab with Ted Dabrowski, President of Wirepoints, wirepoints.org, all things Illinois policy related. The March primary ballot brings some school referenda, big cash grabs from your big school districts. And, of course, I suspect most of them will pass because you can't spend enough.
It's for the children, Dan.
You cannot spend enough on K through 12 education. Every dollar spent is to ensure, and it's worth it, and this and that, and sure, it's not empire building, and we need that fancy new teacher's lounge and the new aquatic center and so on and so forth. Wine cellars, whatever they want, give it to them. Liquidate my house, please. Okay, they will. For example, Glenbard District 87, $183 million bond referendum. $183 million.
$183 million.
Yeah, $183 million bond will be decided by District 87 voters. As of last year, 40% of students meet or exceed SAT standards in English. 37.5% of students were meet or exceed standards in math. Mm-hmm. Money is going to be, as you might expect, not really devoted to instruction per se, but to campus life in District 87, which is the most important thing. According to one local, District 87, the district has spent $150 million of taxpayer money in the last 12 years fixing up the schools. Well, now it needs 183 and one.
That's a big ask.
Oh,
it's not? Okay.
I mean, can you put a price on your child's education? For more on this, Ted Dabrowski. Ted, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy.
District 87, Wilmette's Avoca School District 37, Lake Zurich School District 95, I see Prospect Heights on the board, Itasca, Norridge. Of course, you know the problem with K through 12 education in Illinois, Ted? We don't spend enough money.
We don't spend enough money. Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating. We spend overall $24,000 a kid when you add it all up, so some of the biggest in the country. So we spend plenty of money, but apparently we need more for making things shiny and pretty in more schools.
Do you want our kids to be and teachers alike unsafe at the schools? I assume that for example, the Avoca grade school district their referendum, I mean, you can't put a price on the quality of the learning environment. I'm sure the Avoca schools are decrepit. They're probably rat infested. Tell me a horror story about the Wilmette schools that requires $90 million.
It is Wilmette, Dan. So it's very dangerous. Very
yes, I know.
Bottom of the.
Are these for metal detectors at the Avoca schools or what?
Exactly. So what's fascinating about this, and my colleague Nick Bonatti and the team at Wirepoints, we started looking at these things, and something we've never done is these referendums, you have a pro side and a con side, and they raise money to promote what they're for, yard signs and phone banking and all that. But when you start to look at the flow of money, you start to realize, wait a minute, this thing starts really unfair for the people who are against tax hikes, because by the time they figure out what's going on, the pro side, the supporters of these tax hikes or bonds, are already organized, and it's the engineering firms, the architecture firms, the teachers union. They all dumping tons of money into these ballot committees to spend money, and ordinary residents who think these are normal, they have no idea what's going on, and then they get blasted, of course, and these things pass.
Well, I mean, is there any opposition, by the way? I mean, concentrated benefits and diffuse costs. It's an Econ 101 lesson, and to the extent there's opposition, I don't know. I mean, the costs are getting less and less diffuse. They're diffusing the value of homes, but I mean, these are all going to pass. I mean, who dare vote against a referendum in Wilmette or Glen Ellen, for goodness sakes? No, you don't. Are you against education? Do you hate teachers?
Oh yeah, and then they always do the typical thing. We're going to cancel football and band Spanish.
Well, then they charge.
Get the money. That's the typical one.
Yeah, and then with something new that started, I think, of like 5 or 10 years ago, charging parents for if you want your kids to play sports in high school.
There you go.
Which is another money
to me,
grab.
It's still fascinating. It's fascinating. I see this architecture firm. They're doing whatever's legal, so I'm not going to hit them for doing something illegal, because I'm sure it's the legal corruption we have in Illinois. But DLA Architects, they're donating to every ballot initiative that supports these new school buildings and stuff. And
they're interested parties, but I mean it's no different than it happens at the state level or the city of Chicago. I mean that's just right. Interested parties. I mean we're going to get work out of this. This is we want school districts to build because we design school district buildings, and the same thing with construction companies and everybody else that benefits from the passage here. So I mean, it doesn't. So I don't know what's the problem with that.
It's just the legalized pay to play, and the other side doesn't have such aggregation of groups with money to put against it. So it's and they do this early on. The superintendent knows what he wants. He or she, they bring in the architecture firm. They negotiate all this stuff ahead of time. They get the money all organized, and then they announce it. And the opposition is just way late. So this is what they need. People need to know what the playbook looks like before it hits your district, not when it hits your district.
Well, but I mean that sort of assumes, though, that the highly educated, enlightened denizens of Wilmette or the Avoca School District specifically, that they're easily buffaloed by a coordinated effort from would-be school contractors and administrative staff and teachers unions that want to see this pass. So they have no capacity for independent thought to assess a $90 million ask on the merits. They have no ability to connect dots to that sort of bond issue and their property taxes and their home values and what they're getting, and so I mean, there's no capacity for critical thought. Is that what we're to understand?
Right. There's some of that definitely goes on, obviously, but the other part is the system's against you, so you got to know the Goliath you're up against and get ready.
Well,
right.
I mean, what do you know offhand? I mean, it's a very high percentage of these bond issues that pass, even in austere times, and I suspect that will happen again in March, don't you?
Yeah, it's 50 to 60%. The only times that they struggled, these bond referendums struggled, was when you hit these financial crises in 08, 09 and stuff like that. But for the most part, say 2 out of 3 pass. The system's set up well for it. Yeah, and not only that, but school districts are very good at getting the superintendents that are really good at doing these things already in the past. Sure, that's what's happening in Avoca. Sure. The guy at Avoca
Dr. So-and-so.
did in Lake Zurich.
Yeah,
exactly.
What happened in Lake Zurich?
Well, Lake Zurich, 95. The same guy that's doing Avoca successfully did this bond referendum in Lake Zurich just a few years ago. So and it's the same like architecture firm. So they know how to piece together these things and make them happen.
It's wonderful.
All right, I had a aha moment. It only took me 30 years. Because, Dan, you've been saying along that Reverend Jackson, shakedown artist.
Not a reverend.
Father Flager, shakedown artist.
Shouldn't be a father.
Okay. So all this time, because the DNC's coming, we'll be here before you know it, guys. And all this time, he was worried about the homeless, saying, don't come here because we don't have our act together.
We don't want you to come here, spend millions, leave here, and we got the same damn situation before you came here.
But guess what? The other day, now it hit me. You are 100% correct. He's a shakedown artist. He doesn't want, he's just, been harping about this, not coming to the DNC. But now he wants the DNC to pay for the homeless situation permanently. It's a shakedown.
So we say to the government, if you want to come into Chicago and you want to come in and do a big convention where millions of dollars we spend on parties and on lobbyists and on hotels and on restaurants, well, come also with billions of dollars and a commitment to do something with homelessness in America.
Yeah, okay, Archie, now go back and play with Jughead. Yeah. Well,
that was a shakedown. So he built this up for 3 weeks. Well, I feel like a fool because you've been saying all along that he's a shakedown artist. Where when I met him, he said, you come to my church, you're naked and you're hungry, we will clothe you, we will feed you like Jesus did.
People are coming to St. Sabina naked?
That's what he saw.
Well, I don't think that has I think something else is going on if that's true. But anyway, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that's the Father Flager that I met years ago. Like,
yeah, right. Yeah, sure.
He just wants his cut of the pie.
All you got to do is ask.
Stunning.
You got to ask for money. That's all they're doing, right?
Right.
Need more money.
Speaking of that, this contretemps of sorts, it's brewing. I don't want to make more of it than it is, but I as we open the show talking about this, I hate when our electeds, our betters, aren't getting along, because the most important thing is that they work together, that they do things together. Because if they do things together, it can only be good things. Like, for example, spend $250 million on migrants. So that's the state, the county, and the city. The city's supposed to come up with $71 million, but BLM Brandon is balking right now. And I just want them to work together to do things for the people that are most important to us in Illinois, the people here illegally.
Well, Brandon Johnson is finally listening to his constituents. He doesn't, they don't want more money for migrants, so he's finally listening to them. So he's doing all along. He's doing what he should have done all along. Look, I think you're going to see this thing between Pritzker and Johnson. I've mentioned it before. It's going to keep getting worse and worse as we get closer to DNC, because Johnson, as he's shown, has no clue on what to do, how to manage, and he's going to get in Pritzker's way. So watch out. By the way, we wrote about this. We have spent over $24,000 per quote asylum seeker so far, but now with this new money. Granted, it's going to be over $30,000 per asylum seeker, so the numbers are growing.
Yeah, it's getting close to how much we spend for CPS students, and now with these bond issues too, you're going to start getting close to that in the leafy suburban school districts too. So, Jelly Belly is going to give his State of the State address, and what a momentous affair that will be. I assume this will be addressed because. The state's still kicking in cash here and trying to incentivize communities not named Chicago to embrace.
Yeah, he's going to give his State of the State speech. It's going to be probably his most consequential speech, because this will be his play at maybe the presidency. He's going to have to present for the DNC. This is an awesome Illinois, an awesome Chicago. We are the leaders in the country, so it's going to be probably the best thing you've ever heard, and look for a lot of pushback after he's done, because he's going to make a lot of claims that I think are easily refutable.
Yeah, the land of abortion mills, marijuana dispensaries, gambling halls, and currency exchanges. I mean, right? It's the model.
Don't forget
how you run a
the
mob
windmills
economy right here in Illinois.
Yeah, flush with windmills and solar panels everywhere.
Well, that too, and don't mention EV batteries.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. So I think it's gonna be really interesting, and he can't. He will never say one negative thing. It's all highly positive, and I guess that's hard. That's the hard part of it. He's never honest about the difficulties we have here. Maybe he'll do one or two. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's migrants or something, but I doubt it.
Well, we have a difficulty. We have some MAGA cultists here, and they need to be dealt with forthwith. And he's just the man to do it, too. Right-wing extremists that dominate Illinois, conservative press corps, that's what he's up against. But don't you fret, because he is equal to the challenge from these right-wing extremists that are trying to undermine the wonderful successes that your leader has brought to the land of Lincoln. Okay. Ted Dabrowski, President, Wirepoints, wirepoints.org, all things Illinois policy related. Ted, thank you as always.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
DC Export is celebrating 50 years. With the vision and hard work of their founders, Dominic and Carol Cacciamiglio, dedication of employees and loyal customers, DC Exports has achieved this milestone. DC Export and Domestic Packing Incorporated was founded in 1974, beginning in a building not much bigger